But for Ukrainians, the cats are also a symbol of some kind of a resilience. They have become like the symbols for many Ukrainian units of army. They are having like it as a symbol on their jackets, and so on. And also, some of them are really using them as a support animals. For example, taking them with them, and because the army is very often living in ruined and abandoned houses, and they are making like some shelters there. So the cats are then getting rid of the mouses and all the things, which could be there, So they are working, they are participants, and they are the soldiers as well, in a way. So that was the decision why we put cat as one of the main protagonists of the overall story.
Well, when we go through the experience, maybe we will see, but we will not realize what it means.
In general, almost all the stuff has some history, some story. For example, these dishes is traditional Ukrainian dishes that there is using in some region, and I remembering that Victoria was caring about these regions where these dishes was made, because these symbols, what is drawn on the dishes is different in every region in Ukraine. So we choose one from the center, one from the a little bit north to the center, like Kiev, for example. The whole world for fragile home should looks like one whole thing that where is everything works together.
А ще мені було дуже складно, працюючи над цим проєктом за кордоном, підбирати референси до проєкту. Тому що всі елементи вжитку, меблі, люстри, столи, все це звична для нас обстановка, майже для кожної української родини. І якщо я би не знаходилась вдома, я просто могла би сфотографувати і показати своїм колегам по роботі. І ми б взяли це в проєкт. Тому, коли мені потрібно було підбирати референси для українських страв, я вчинила по-іншому. Я просто почала це, знаходячись за кордоном, готувати для своєї родини. Я приготувала борщ, голубці, сирники, узвар. А потім просто сфотографувала все це і показала своїм колегам по роботі над цим проєктом. І це стало нашими референсами.
Hello, Ondrej, and thanks for joining me on this episode about Fragile Home, an immersive mixed reality experience that transforms our surroundings into the home of a Ukrainian family and reflecting the impact of the war. We start the experience at home and we finish at home. But from the beginning to the end, we go through the devastating effects of the war, while the beautiful traditional Ukrainian melodies accompany us. Fragile Home is funded by the European Union Next Generation EU, Czech Recovery Plan, Minister of Culture, Czech Republic, and Czech Film Fund. And also IKEA is a partner. I think they supported the installation on Venice Immersive too, with all the furniture. And so, could you tell us about this project, your role, how it all started?
Yeah, it all started like in 2022 already after the invasion of Russian army into Ukraine. And from the beginning, we had an idea that we want to create a virtual reality project about war in Ukraine. We wanted to make like a 6 dot thing, but by that time we were thinking about more like a traditional non-mixed reality experience, which would cover the story of some of the people who decided to stay at their home in during the invasion, because we were kind of surprised that it's happening a lot, that people are not leaving their homes, and we wanted to discover a bit more what does it mean, for everybody to dwell during the war at their homes. And of course, it opened the next level of all this. It's what the home means to us in general as people. But then by the end of 2022, we discovered that the mixed reality format is going to emerge a bit more, and we decided to shift it. And we started to rework it in a way, and we felt that it would be really great if the whole experience is done in a way that you experience it on the platform or your own flat, which will slowly transform into Ukrainian flat. And you will be discovering a bit from the Ukrainian apartment, also from your apartment. So it created kind of an idea that your flat will become kind of a stage, like a theater stage for this story. And yeah, and I believe that we made it in a good way. We also at the beginning were thinking that it will be more narrative, that there will be one story of somebody who decided not to leave the home, but then we decided to go for more like a poetic and abstract way, where we were working with traditional Ukrainian songs and kind of environmental storytelling, which is done in a way that you are discovering like small pieces of the stories in the flat, and you are putting them together in your own tempo and everything.
Yeah. And is this a follow-up project of Fresh Memories Deluxe? Is this the Fragile Home that part of that series?
It's a follow-up, but it was kind of unintentional in a way, because like the first idea was to create this like a bigger 6 dot, then later mixed reality project about war in Ukraine. We knew that it will last for a few years to create it. It was 2 years at the end of the day. But then in the middle of the process, or quite at the beginning of the process, the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Czech Republic approached us that they want to create a virtual reality piece about war in Ukraine, and it must be quick. And we were like, okay, so what can we do quickly? And we came with the concept of Fresh Memories, the look, which is about gazing into the eyes of people who survived bombing in Kiev. And we decided that we will create the diptych, like 2 parts of the experience, which will be like separated from each other, but the topic of the Ukraine will be still presented. So we decided to create this 2-part experience, both focusing on home and on experiencing the war.
So they come together in that the whole the whole concept of home is such a big concept, and it kind of serves as some kind of a metaphor about in general yourself, your body, your family, and everything. Is like home is your like forte, like your castle, like and the symbolism, all that objects and details are too many, and not necessarily we know of them. So before I experienced the Fragile Home, I didn't know about the rooster porcelain figure, or even the lady who kicked a drone with the tomato jar. And so this project is giving such a wide perspective on the tradition and how people living through the war. So your approach to spatial storytelling and mixed reality on Fragile Home feels deeply, very much rooted in symbolism, and every object has a story, and even photographs on the wall, like they have, you're able to interact them, like they have that sounds, and they're accompanying with the songs, that beautiful traditional Ukrainian songs. And can you talk about your narrative vision and how you kind of worked on to convey such a topic, that psychological trauma, through the space, which is home?
Yes. Yeah, as mentioned, we kind of wanted to create a thing which will not have a direct narrative, not like a classic story, but it will be more like environmental discovering what's happening, and something you will recognize, something you will not. So we didn't want to, for example, to push like somehow uh, intensively the story, for example, of the ceramic rooster, which was the very iconic rooster which survived bombing in Borodyanka in 2022 and became a symbol of Ukrainian resilience. We were thinking that, okay, maybe there will be people who will recognize it and they will feel it, and then there will be people who will not. And for those who will not recognize these objects, there is next to the actual presentation room of the artificial room where you experience it, also a small like a gallery of the objects where after the experience you can find out all the details, and it can give you another layer, and it can give you another wave of your discovery also out of the headset. So that was kind of a like idea which I wanted to have, because I didn't want to be too direct. Let's say I wanted to be a bit more open, a bit more poetic, and also let you to just absorb the environment itself. And if you're interested in the backstories, so then you can have your time. Then you can have your time after. And yeah, so that was the kind of a basic idea. We also didn't want to put too many like symbols there. So at the end of the day, there is a bunch of them, but we wanted to be for them still very like a casual, so that there are like a typical like a porcelain things, apart from the rooster, there is hay and wheat, which is also very symbolic for Ukraine, and also has a very interesting story connected with the fact that the wheat was forbidden to export at one part of the time, because even the Allies decided that it would be dangerous to accept wheat from Ukraine, and then the Ukraine started to protest and so on. So there is a lot of stories behind these, I would say, like assets. Um, but I felt in a way that people are already a bit overloaded with stories and like the classics narratives, and that we need more to focus on the kind of a very basic emotional level. So that's why we focused on the songs, on the visuals, on kind of like a poetic narration. And so far, I feel that it was a good decision, because people are absorbing, of course, some level of like situation in Ukraine and all of that. But a lot of people are coming to us and they are telling to us what creates their feelings to home. Like very often, it's like, for example, the food. Because there is a lot of food on the table in many scenes, and they were like, "That's what represents home for me." Some others say, there is the cat. So I have a cat as well, or other animal, and that's what create a feeling of home for me. And through this universal, I would say, symbols or represents like it represents the feeling of home, and we wanted to create this feeling, and I hope that we were successful.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, because I was also happy about that. Because during the festival I didn't have time to experience anything else. I was also performing, but I was kind of happy to experience it at home, because it also gave me some kind of a space to process all those feelings and totally give myself into the experience. And through that songs, there are 4 songs and a beautiful polyphonic sound design there. So it takes you in, and you're kind of living through that experience with the music, with the power of music. And could you, like, I really wonder, like, how did you come up with that idea to collaborate with the musicians, like put all that songs, that traditional songs, and because on Fragile Home is like that songs are like the narrative, even if I don't
Yes.
understand Ukrainian.
Yes. They are giving you like the basic emotional level. They are giving you the basic like information about what's happening and so on. And why we decided to do that is actually it was kind of like my wish, because I felt in some certain moment of the project, I felt that I am a bit dissociated from that because I was like, okay, it's about war in Ukraine, it's about home, which is universal, but I needed something what was truly mine, let's say, in some way. And I discovered the beauty of Ukrainian polyphonic songs like already a few years back when I started to go to the choir, with like amateur choir, where I was learning how to sing traditional Ukrainian songs, and it really captivated me. It was very, very beautiful. And at the moment when I was deciding about if to go to the way of a traditional narrative or some abstract, I was like, okay, I really want to include the Ukrainian songs because that's what it's piece of my heart in the project as well. Of course, there's a more pieces of hearts in that project for me, but this is the biggest one, I would say. And so we started to think about the system. And what I love the Ukraine, about the Ukrainian songs is that the polyphony is so beautiful. And I had an idea that we could create a kind of a thing that through your motion, you will activate one by one the voices in the polyphony, and that your movement will make this choir alive, and that through your agency, which is moving, you will make Ukrainian voices to be heard, which felt to me very like beautiful to do it in this way.
Yes, yes, it's so. I mean, I wasn't expecting to hear a different vocal when I took the rooster. So,
Yeah,
and I also didn't expect to hear some sound from the photographs.
yeah,
So, in a way, like the sound on that experience is very important, and you have all that choir, all that musicians, and this is this project is also a very beautiful example of a collaboration with from different sections of art form, like musicians coming together, like also your the Victoria was an architecture, like I think her background is from, yeah,
yes.
right.
Set designer and architect. Yeah.
So could you tell us a bit more about like your collaboration with Victoria? Because also we are kind of making this interview for honoring her work and remembering her, because like originally the idea, when I started with the idea like we are going to make this interview, I was going to be making this interview with you, Tim, and Victoria. Um but life, she passed away, and yeah, like how was your process with collaborating with her? How was your process, and um what do you
Yeah.
think, like what is left to you from this beautiful collaboration with her? Like, how do you remember it?
Yeah, it was very beautiful, I have to say, even though that our collaboration was not that long, because Tim and Victoria came in the, I would say, last part of the all production, but very crucial one, where we decided to make a very dramatic shift of all the project, how it will look like. And it was nice coincidence that I knew about Victoria. I saw her project Bloodbath before, and I knew that she's living in Prague, and I was like, okay, that's like a call for collaboration. And even though that it was a bit challenging in a way, because Victoria didn't speak much either English or Czech, so Tim was kind of a translator for us all the time, and it was sometimes not that easy to understand all the things. But what I really felt was beautiful collaboration with her, that she had a very good like a connection to the detail, and she absolutely knew what is supposed to be present in the story in terms of like a small details, like for example the sheets on the pillows on the sofa, which pattern to use. And she was like, okay, we want to use this pattern because this is for a Kiev area kind of a traditional one, not this one because that's more for the southern Ukraine, And so she had a really big expertise in these little details, and which, of course, like the majority of the viewers like um, will not recognize that as much. But there are people who are saying, I had exactly the same sheet on pillows on my grandma, for example. So it's a kind of a nice, like these stories from the viewers, and how she was very much able to discover what's nice. And then we were picking it together, so it also aesthetically works. We a lot of were thinking, okay, we are creating the Ukrainian household, but we don't want to create a museum out of that, because when you're working with the folklore, it can happen a lot, that then you would have too many ornamental things, too many like folk culture things. But I was from the beginning saying it needs to be the place where people live. So that's why there is a mixture of something a bit more modern, like the sofa, for example, is quite modern, with something old, which is the cupboard or storage, where you have all the plates, and then the table is like on a semi way, So it was a kind of very eclectic thing, and that's very typical for the Ukrainian households in general, that they are having a lot of like things which are connected to the folklore, and also those which are totally not connected with it all. And that's what I had a very good feeling with Victoria, that we were able to agree on that. I remember one nice story, which where we disagreed, and that was that she wanted to have in the living room the broom, and the broom really looked like, for me, like from Middle Ages, like that. It was like, come on, this is not what somebody from the city is having in their flat. And she was like, no, I swear you have that. I was like, oh no, I don't feel that. So we didn't put it there. And then when she was back home in Ukraine, she sent me a picture of her flat where she's having this broom as a proof, and it was very very sweet. So I remember that. So yeah, it was beautiful collaboration, and I'm still very sorry that she wasn't able to enjoy the results of our work because of her illness. That still lies in me as a very very intensive grieving moment, I would say. But I'm still very glad that the project is traveling around the world. That in summer we are going to release the online version for everybody who's having a Quest device, and they can experience it at
Oh,
home
this is great
with their
news. I'm
furniture.
so happy to hear this.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
is this new? Is this a new update?
it's kind of it's still like the official date was not set yet, so we are not saying like actually when it will happen. But now we will have two important festivals. The project will be shown in competition in Annecy, and also it will be shown in the immersive program at Tribeca Film Festival. And after
Oh,
Tribeca,
congratulations! Yes.
thank you a lot. Thank you a lot. And after these two events, we are planning to work more on the online release, which was the original goal, because we believe that experiencing this project in your very own flat is the most powerful thing. How you can experience the thing.
This is such great news, because I mean, I really would like to, everyone to be able to have this experience, because people have all that ideas about war, how is it going, blah blah, but still there are some barriers, like media barriers, like language barriers, so we actually don't know that the real stories, right? So because you, and also your beautiful, your beautiful way of putting it, I think the essence is coming from, yeah, the nice thing about this, like why I like this so much, is because you're not trying to make a propaganda, or you are not trying to shout it out loud, like, hey, like people suffer, la la la. It's not that, but you're just putting all that, symbolism with the objects and with the songs. You're taking us through that experience for a while. So you're giving us that opportunity to experience it, because after, now I don't want to spoil it, because but after some part, like when you see that snow is coming down over you, and when I was doing it, my balcony door was open, so I was feeling the cold weather is coming inside. I was like, oh my goodness, like I literally felt it.
Nice
So
coincidence, yeah.
it was so great, and you're not just exaggerating or anything. Like you have all the things going on, like we are on the real home of a person who is going through war. So, and how we decorate our homes reflect our minds. You're just showing it with the symbolism, and I mean, there are lots of stories in that one home. Can you elaborate the symbolism embedded in the experience a bit more, with the objects, like the rooster, like the tomato jar? Like tomato jar story is so, I mean, wow. Like
Yeah, yeah. We already mentioned it a bit here, but I can extend a bit.
like what are other
So
things? Maybe I missed some things. I don't know. Like, because I'm not sure if I was able to understand all the objects or the stories.
yeah, sure. I can go one by one. Some of the main ones, like because it's interesting that in this experience you don't have like a protagonist, more like a characters, but more like objects, which was also like another kind of thinking about the plot in general. So like the object and animals, to be correct, because like the main protagonist is probably seen as the cat, which we are having in the experience. She is living in a, we can see her in different positions through the four songs. First one, she's lying very comfortably on the couch. In the second one, she's already alerted in the window and waiting for some danger. Then she disappears because something bad is happening, and we don't know what is happening to her. We are in this like we are afraid that maybe she was
Yes, I
killed.
was so afraid. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
thank you for not killing her.
yeah.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
it was one friend of mine told me that if I haven't known that you are the creator, I would be really scared that the cat haven't survived. But because I know you, I knew that you will never kill an animal, because I love animals. I'm a animal, I would say, fighter for the animal rights. So it was interesting. And then in the fourth chapter, she comes back with a little bit injured boy, and she's kind of a hero of the story at the end of the day. So she catches the most like attention, And it's not like just like a random protagonist in terms of like, of course, a lot of people are having cats at their homes, but for Ukrainians, the cats are also a symbol of some kind of resilience.
Хороші гості у мене, зелене жит.
They have become like the symbols for many Ukrainian units of army. They are having like it as a symbol on their jackets, and so on. And also, some of them are really using them as a support animals in the fights. They are, for example, taking them with them, and because the army is very often living in ruined and abandoned houses, and they are making some shelters there. So the cats are then getting rid of the mouses and all the things, which could be there, So they are working, they are participants, and they are the soldiers as well, in a way. So that was the decision why we put cat as one of the main protagonists of the overall story. Then there was the rooster, which I already mentioned, which was very symbolic in Borodyanka in 2022.
Зелене жито зелене, хороші гості у мене.
The whole block of flat collapsed, and the only thing which remained there was a cupboard with this ceramic rooster, which was very symbolic. It's already like a rooster from the Soviet era, where it was produced in a massive way. So a lot of households are having them in their households, and it became again like a very fragile symbol of resilience of the Ukrainians. I remember that UK Prime Minister came in 2022 to Ukraine, and he received the gift of the rooster because it became such an important thing, on some level. So I wanted to have this story to be there. The rooster has a special ability when you take it, so it sings as well. It's a bird. So it should have a like the own voice. So it's a kind of a Easter egg there in a way. And yeah,
I was going to ask you about the photographs.
the photographs are the next ones, which are very important, and they are giving some not that much symbolic, but very realistic factor of all the things, because that's the family which I met on my scouting in one of the villages nearby Kiev, which was affected by the war by the very beginning, and they lost their home. And then even after, they renovated it. They have renovated it like a few months before the war started, and then it was totally damaged, totally collapsed, and now they have just like a small, like a plastic home there from the United Nations, which was provided for them. And I wanted to have their story there as well. So I was in touch with the family, and we shared like a few days there. And yeah, they showed me around, and they were very open and very, very. That was for me very fascinating to see how they are strong, because they were speaking about all of things which happened to them with a very calm mind, and very like they were very like strong and full of power. So I definitely wanted to have them presented there, and so we can see again like the pictures like from the era where they were feeling totally okay, when the home was blooming and all the garden was blooming. Then the next pictures when they are protesting at Maidan in 2012 or 13 are part of their wall as well. And then in the last chapter, you can see the photos from the home which was already damaged, and I also wanted which collapsed, and I wanted to also have it in a way. The pictures on the wall are important because the family told me that what are they missing the most, like from their home which they lost, and they answered that these are the photos, like the memory which they have. Like they don't have anymore like photos of the kids which were small, or something. So all the photos which I got from them were kind of a newer one, like the digital ones, but all the analog memory which they had was buried in the house, and I really felt that it's important for them. So I definitely wanted to have the photos on the wall as one of the artifacts in the experience.
Right. I think this is kind of the kind of coming out of this medium. Like you're not only, I mean, they don't only have memories now. They also have that digital artifacts, right? So this is hopefully, and this is not going to get lost or destroyed. I mean, who
Yeah,
knows? But
who knows?
you know,
Yeah, right.
at least we have this now, and but yeah, like when I'm listening that stories, like it even makes much more sense. And I was thinking about like what kind of a home is that? Like who is living here? I see the tomato jar, I see the rooster, and I'm thinking maybe this is the house of that lady who threw the jar to drone and
It's home of
um
all of them. We didn't want to tell we didn't want to say one story, but it's a kind of on this symbolic level, you can experience more stories. Some of them you don't recognize, some of them you do. And it's totally okay. Maybe you don't recognize any story in that, and that's also fine because then it will be more about you. It will be about your connection to the place, and that's also fine. So we wanted to give as much space to the viewer and their inclusion of the other stories as possible.
it's giving you with all that collection, it's giving you that open field to interpret and kind of make it your own also, like, because I think this is also the beauty of the medium, creating an immersive mixed reality experience. Like it's very personal. It's
Yeah,
more personal than a movie, maybe. You know,
it depends.
it's
I think
yeah,
it
it
can be.
depends.
I
Yeah,
don't want to create like this like aureola of immersive mediums that they are more personal or more intimate. On some level they are, and for me, for example, they are. But I also want to give credits to all other arts media, like arts like film, theater, literature. All these can create something very personal and very deep. And I think that immersive media are just the next ones, and they are using a bit different tools, and some of the stories can be heard more intensively through them. But yeah, that's how I feel.
right. Like all the mediums are kind of feeding each other, and
Yes, yes.
I mean, it's not a comparison, but yeah, like it totally depends on the project itself, the subject, the story,
Hmm.
and kind of kind of wrapping up. But like, I wonder, like, what do you have any expectations from the viewer, the spectator, the audience? Like, what do you what do you think they're coming out of this experience? Like when they come out of this experience, like do you have any expectations?
I think you can have many expectations from the audience, or you have intentions which you want to be fulfilled. But I think that the best is just to let it go. I think that whatever whatever comes to the audience as a signal input, sensation, whatever, it's beautiful. And when people are speaking to me about like that they felt very much connected with feeling about their home, of course that's what I glad to hear, because that was one of the intentions of the project. But also when people are saying something different, like when they are just speaking, for example, about the cat, which is which is the most frequent comment. So I'm like, okay, that's great too, you know. I think it's good if you, as an author, don't have like too many expectations what will be the impact on the viewer, because then you can kind of lock yourself in the cage of these expectations, which can be, the results can be totally different, and it's great and it's fine and it should be. That's what art is doing. So I'm totally happy how the Fragile Home is perceived. Of course, like, it would be sad if people would say just, this is bullshit, you know, I don't understand that, which I
Oh
was afraid,
no,
which I
no
was a
one
bit,
would be that bad. Like,
but on some
I
level,
hope.
I was afraid, you know, because I was like, isn't it too open, you know? Isn't it like that there is, that people would wait for the narrative and to hear the story? And I was like, no, I'm not giving it to you like in the traditional way. So there was a kind of I was afraid that people will not absorb it, but at the end, it showed up that the balance was done in a good way, and that most of the people are getting some interesting sensations from the piece.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I hope no one came up to you like, "Hey, what is this? Like, what did you do?"
There was one guy actually in Venice. I was very surprised. It was a
In
Swiss guy.
Venice? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it was a Swiss guy who came and asked me if I was in Ukraine and what is the piece about. And he did not get it much, and then he was telling to me that he thinks that Russia deserves its greatness and so on. And it was kind of a really triggering for me to listen to that. Yeah, so that was the most kind of triggering thing, you know. But also, okay, fine, you know. And I think that even though that it didn't touch him much, or that it didn't ring a bell much for him, so I believe that it could at least give him the feeling, okay, there are people who are seeing it differently, and having the conversation with him after was very memorable for me. So I also believe that it was useful.
Sure, right? Like, because of course like everyone has their idea, everyone is consuming a different kind of a media, these especially, and you know, like the polarization of the ideas are real, the politics are real. There are always not only two sides of the coin, but lots of sides of the coin. And but interesting, like installations are also giving you that kind of encountering with the people. What do they think? In that sense, it's a great opportunity. Like you are kind of live testing. You're
Yeah.
seeing the reactions of the people. Like, you know, that's interesting. And and so we are kind of wrapping up, but like I also would like to learn about like what is the Fragile Home journey like from here through festivals and exhibitions, and do you see it is going to expand into new projects maybe, or like what's next?
Yeah. So now we are kind of having the second like intensive run of the project on the festivals. So as I mentioned, it will be in Annecy, it will be at Tribeca, also in Korea. It will be shown this summer, and then let's see. Then we will have the store version, so the people at home can experience that, which is very important for us. And in terms of the next work, I'm planning to continue also to have at least one story about which is also connected with home, but in different context. About it should be like a bit a thing connected with the climate change and some kind of a underwater fairy tale. I will not say more, but it's something what I'm planning to do as a kind of a not sequel, but a next project which is done in a bit similar way as Fragile Home, and maybe it will be Fragile Home slash something, you know, that it will have even the same title. but it's too early to share some details because it's still in a very early development. So
Oh, so exciting! Thank you for sharing. Like,
yeah,
that would be super cool, I think.
yeah.
We need, because we always need more projects, kind of showing what's going on in the world, and because like saying this is not right, like this is not working, like climate crisis is happening, like we are living through this, but still, some people are like, no, it was always hard or something. So we always need that kind of projects, that kind of making that face of situations with people. But and also, like, you're the founder of Art VR Festival.
Yes.
And is it coming this year? Like, what is your journey on that? This is also very exciting.
Sure, we are preparing the third edition of the festival this year. We will expand it a bit, this year as well, because we will have we opened the festival for also a full dome project. So we will have a special program in the Prague Planetarium, which is freshly renovated, and it's supposed to have the best quality picture in the world, what they say. So I'm really curious with a special LED system of the displays, and I believe it will be super beautiful. So we are like taking this next step, and we are very happy about that. And yeah, we hope that we will invite even more creators, visitors. We will focus this year on something like not how people are seeing the world, but how other non-human beings are seeing the world. So it will be, I believe, interesting to dive into this.
When you so this is great, because when you were talking about how other things are seeing the world, I was recently reading about mantis shrimp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Have you ever
yeah.
heard? Like,
I
and
heard about them.
how
They are super aggressive and they are very beautiful. It's
they're super aggressive. Also, they have, like, they're not like humans. They're not trichromates. Like, they have four, like, decachromates, or they have more
they
depth.
have my friend who was art director for Darkening, my first VR film, created a puppet film about this, which will premiere in Venice as well, and it's called 9 Million Colors because it's the resolution of this shrimp as you describe it. So there will be like a classic film about her, and it's very lovely. I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh my god, this is great. So maybe we can also share that links, like, because this is interesting, because yeah, like, we don't see the world like we humans see the world in a different way, like the butterfly sees in a different way. But this is so interesting. I'm so glad to hear, like, Art VR Festival is expanding. Now I should definitely come, but this year is so crazy. I don't know, but
We will see. We will be happy.
I would be so happy, I'm sure. But the traveling and getting out of the country is such a big deal in here, especially for Turkish citizens, actually, because, like, the getting the visa and stuff, like, it's so crazy right now. But I'm definitely so happy to hear about the Art VR Festival. I'm so excited, because when we look at and you're not that big, super fancy big festival, but you're doing, like, your previous selections were, like, awesome. Like, we before you, we also interviewed with Memer Mountain, and on previous year you had Memer Mountain. We are also on the selection, I think. You're collecting all that great artists projects, and you're making such a great festival in Prague. So, I mean, congratulations again, Ondrej.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are very happy.
Would you like to add something, like, or mention something else, like,
I think
talk about
we
something?
I think we said all important relevant. So I think I'm fulfilled and empty at once, you know. So
Great. So then again, thank you so much for this opportunity. I was, as you know, I was just trying to make this interview for such a long
really,
time, since
yeah,
last year, since Venice, but we finally made it. I'm so glad, and
perfect.
it's a pleasure to meet you and talk you about Fragile Home.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too. It was lovely.
So,
Okay,
hello,
good,
Tim.
good.
Thank you so much for joining me on this special interview for Fragile Home, which we dedicate it to Victoria Lopukhina. I
Lopukhina.
think I say it wrong, but I think you will say it better. So, she's the co-director, concept artist, and consultant of the project, and she's your mother, and we dedicate this episode for her honor and for her work. And also congratulations on the Annecy Festival lineup. Fragile Home is selected to Annecy Festival. And yeah, like, how are you doing?
Oh, hello, Selen. Thank you very much for invitation to this interview. It's I'm doing well. Really excited about this interview because like it's my first actually interview in my life. At least in this type of recording. So yeah, I'm ready. Let's go on.
Awesome. And okay, so could you tell me more about your role on the project? From a technical perspective, what were the biggest challenges in creating the physical digital integration actually on Fragile Homes installation, because it's also installed as a project on Venice Immersive Island. So especially given its mix of real-time rendering and environmental interactivity, because it's also a mixed reality project. What were your challenges?
So at Fragile Home, we with Victoria was the main our role was like Ukrainian consultants who are helping to Czech team to make Ukrainian stuff like looking like real Ukrainians, because so a lot of people from other countries, if even they know something about Ukraine, they know only like um, only some main things on, and also sometimes it's stereotypes that are not really true. So our goal for me and for my mother Victoria was to explain how it's working right. So, but after that, if we'll go deeper inside our roles, I was like a 3D modeler. I was modeling 3D models for Fragile Home, helping to big team of Fragile Home Venice Immersive studio, and just making some stuff like food or some tables or shelves or other what is using in this project. Um, and Victoria's role was like a co-director, so she was helping to Ondrej Moravec with script a little bit, and also um, like telling what is true, what is not about Ukrainian family, for example. Um, so yeah, it's the main thing.
Yes, and I remember when, and we previously worked on Bloodbaths with you and Victoria together. So I think it's kind of important to put out that details out there, like because before we start working on Bloodbath together, I knew about the story, but I didn't know all the details about the process and how about the timeline. But by doing that project with you both, I learned more about the Snake Island and how all things started and escalated through a point where they started to attack. So I think Victoria played a crucial role in both Bloodbath VR and Fragile Home XR. What was her particular approach and emotional tone of this piece? Because like the symbols are so important. We have that rooster porcelain figure. We have all that food, and on the video, she mentions how she cooked the food instead of taking them, scanning them with photogrammetry. She really cooked the food, and then you created that 3D objects. Have you had a chance to eat all that food after she made?
Okay, wait. I will answer step by step. Okay, about concept, how she was making it. Victoria always was making really huge work, like big research about any thematic about what we was making, and it doesn't matter is it about bloodbath or is it about fragile home. That's always was a big folder on the Google Drive with so lot of Word documents with a lot of text. She was searching for the nights, for the days, uh, saw a lot of info, some websites, going deep in this thematic and archives, and all the stuff putting in one file. After that, she was rereading and summarizing it. Of course, when the some artificial intelligence tools appear in our reality, of course, she was starting to use. We was together starting to understanding how AI works, and AI also helps us at least for summarizing that. So it's the main point. And of course, only after she made some this work, she started to thinking how we will make it like in technical way. And in technical way, I was the main person who is answering she like how to make it or can we make it at all theoretically or in practical way. So yeah, that one about some like real objects, what was in fragile home. Uh, yeah, of course, some furniture, for example, it was just classic furniture that we found. What references we found in internet, but for example, this for this rooster, um, it's like main symbol that was not the idea from Victoria. It was using in Ukrainian communities so much. Okay, so we had just one incident in Ukraine when some of building, I don't remember where, I think in the Kiev, was bombed, and it was like whole building was destroyed at all without any floors. But on the some wall, some shelf just left shelf, and on this shelf everything is damaged, and only this rooster left. It's like so for every
Crazy.
yes, and but anyway, Ukrainians have a sense of humor, and this rooster become a symbol of Ukrainians who is doing well even in this really bad situation, because this rooster is made of what's that? Um, like it's really easy to break, but anyway, it's still standing on the wall where is nothing. So yeah, it's just explanation why it's rooster. About food, he was talking that we was like cooking this food instead of 3D modeling. It's not like that. It was like that that I didn't manage to find any image references or some ready to go 3D models in internet of this food. So for me, it was easy to more easier to say to my mom that she should make it by herself at home. And after that, I made a photogrammetry of this food. And after that, I was like optimizing it. So it was like that.
So you cooked the food, you made the scans, then you optimized it, and then
Yeah.
this is
So
how we see all that food on the table.
no, not all of them, but yeah, some of
Oh,
them. So Victoria made the food. For example, this what it was golubцы, like some meat inside of leaf of cabbage, I think. Um, so yeah, I just didn't found any 3D references in internet like that. So it was easier to make it. After I made it, then I photoscan it and then optimize it for VR.
so also we have that tomato jar, which is another symbol. And I kind of, when I read that story, I was like, this is just awesome. And I didn't knew it. Like I didn't know it before I read it about on the Fragile Home XR website, like because you have some descriptions on the website about the symbols, and I didn't know that story. Like, can you tell us that story about the
Okay,
tomato pickle jar? Because it's
I'm sorry,
another
I
awesome
forgot the
story.
story. Can you remind please about tomato jar? What exactly you read?
So this is sure. So the pickle jar story is kind of like it was like a myth. So people were not sure if it is wrong or something made up or if it really happened. But then later, some woman, a younger woman, came out and she was like, "No, this is my grandmother. This really happened." So the story is with the tomato pickle jar. Like, one grandmother is sitting outside the balcony and smoking, and then she suddenly realizes something over there outside, and she thinks it's maybe a bird, but she
Ah,
realizes
okay.
this is not a bird.
Okay,
So
okay.
she and of course this is still during the cities under attack. So you should be you're so alert, and of course
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
you're
uh-huh.
afraid of anything can happen. So she literally takes that tomato jar and she she hits the drone with that tomato
Mhm,
jar,
mhm.
and
Okay, okay.
drone
Yeah, I got it.
gets down, and she literally hits the drone with the tomato jar. Just so epic. And this turned into some kind of another symbolism, like people are fighting the good fight, and they're making their efforts to fight, and they're not giving up. So this also turned into some kind of a, and
Uh,
there are other things.
There's a lot of things like that. About
Yes.
this tomato jar, I just forgot because all these small like Easter eggs that not so a lot of people will understand was made by Victoria. Of course, I was helping too, but I was not thinking. I just forgot about this story, to be honest. But anyway, yeah, it was. It's real. And
Do you
what
remember
was
anything else like which Victoria specifically worked on and put out there as some kind of a story? Like what, when we go through the experience, uh, maybe we will see, but we will not realize
uh,
what it means.
uh in general, all the stuff that was made, almost all the stuff was has some history, some story. For example, these dishes is traditional Ukrainian dishes that there is using in some region, and I remembering that Victoria was caring about these regions where these dishes was made, because these symbols, what is drawn on the dishes is different in every region in Ukraine. So we choose like one one from the center, one from the a little bit north to the center, like I mean, like Kiev, for example, and uh, like we didn't use some edges of Ukraine because it's really different. The whole world for fragile home should looks like one whole thing that where is everything works together. So what else? We add, of course, some photos of us to frames.
I was going to ask you about this because also photos have that polyphonic quality. Like when
Uh,
you take the photos, you also hear the sound.
uh,
Um,
yeah, so in this photo frames was some of photos of us for from my family, and but then also Venice Immersive team also add some, just like Ondra adds his photos and other artists too. So yeah, like that. And what else? I remember that I was modeling the bottle of Gorilka. Gorilka is vodka, but Ukrainian vodka. And we also was
and
choosing.
is it the bottle that is standing with the undershelf with the like the rooster is up and
Uh-huh.
there that's
Yeah,
that bottle, right?
so,
Yeah.
somewhere there. It's a glass water, or a glass bottle. I mean, um, and it's also was really symbolic thing that here is bottle of this Gorilka and also a table um with salo. Salo is like pork, like really fat pork, and dark bread. All of this, it's a thing that every man who wants to drink are using to have together. Yeah, and we was choosing what kind of brand we should use, and can we at all use some brand for this vodka, because we had difficult moments that from the one side it should be recognizable that every Ukrainian will understand and know this is Gorilka. But on the other hand, we have that can we use brand logos in our project? But somehow we managed to do it because like we was consulting with Ondrej, of course.
I
So yeah.
mean, also like um, I was so affected by like after the explosion at the home.
Uh,
Um, it really got under my skin because you really see like once what was on the roof. Like now you don't have the roof anymore because it's exploded and the snow is coming inside. So you're
uh,
sitting in the dark, the snow is coming inside, and you're just feeling that kind of kind of dark night of the soul moment. But I was the fact that like the cat didn't die in the explosion. It was just it has a bandage on its leg. So
yeah,
I was
I
like,
made
okay,
this
there's still
bandage.
hope. Oh, great! Thank you so much. Because yeah, like that kind of things are, I think that details are making the narrative choices. Like the narrative choice is like putting the bandage or not putting the bandage, or like maybe cat wouldn't be alive, maybe it would be gone in the explosion. But when I saw the cat after the explosion, I was like, there's hope, like it's giving you
Uh,
hope. So it's
yeah,
like, we are kind of putting that bandage on our wounds. It's a heavy situation, but we are going on and we are kind of still living. We are resilient. We are fighting back. So it's giving all that messages, I think, with all that details. So I just also want to, know your ideas or know your experience about Venice Immersive. Like, was it your first time? How was it for you? Because Venice Immersive program is also a very special program, and that, being there has its own authentic experience itself. Being there as a VR developer is so special. It must be so different for it. Like, how did you feel during the festival?
Yeah, so Venice Immersive was really amazing. I was first time in the Venice, first time in the Italy too. So of course, like from the tourist side, it was incredible. I like everything. Um, it was really interesting to see the town, what is on the sea, and that every street is just bridge, and all the streets where should cars drive. There's like this benches, not benches, like ships. Yeah. But more about Venice Immersive. Yeah, it's really big festival. One of the biggest, one of the oldest festival. I was really, really happy to take part of it. If we will talk about more about Fragile Home, I was really happy to see real reactions and real feedback from people who was visiting our project. Because all the time before, all the summer where we was working, I was speaking only with the developers. And when you're developing some project for so long, you can sometimes don't see really soul of this project. You saw the soul on the really really beginning, but after that you
Yes.
was focusing only some technical stuff and just forget about this soul. But when you see real people who is visiting it and have really fresh emotions from that, it's giving you it's giving you new emotions about your project and new side, new view of your project, I think. And yeah, it was great. It was great. So a lot of people who was leaving our fragile home with beautiful words like you have so amazing words that was affecting to me like that and describing all this kind of emotion. Also fun thing that it was in Italy and we know that so a lot of Italians are really uh, have so a lot of emotions, at least more than
Oh
Ukrainians.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
when
yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely. As a Turkish person, I know I know it.
Ukrainians also are really close, and even how I'm speaking now with you, it's not typical for Ukrainians.
It will not be offensive, don't worry. I was just checking the time.
Uh,
And if you want to add up something, just feel free to add. But my next question would be just about like, what's next for you right now? What are you doing? What are your further steps? And are you going to make more XR projects? Like,
uh,
what's on your future now?
Okay, so of course now for me alone it's harder to make some project than it was with Victoria, of course, because like before we was like a duo. We had Sweet Studio that was promoting like a duet of two people, but now I'm alone and I need to like this part that was made by Victoria I take to myself, and now unfortunately I just cannot because I have studying. I'm still studying at university. I have work to earn some money at least, and to make some personal projects. It's not at that time, unfortunately. But anyway, really, I'm Luckily, I'm working at the VR industry now. I'm working at the Municipal Library of Prague, as a VR specialist. So I'm helping in technical way how to manage all this stuff, all these devices, that they have. And also helping to them to develop their VR application that they're making. And I'm really, really happy that I'm not only that guy that just doing stuff that is saying to like some task that is going above from me. I also can add something from myself and propose, for example, some ideas. And for example, at the library, my idea was to make it a VR chat because they just didn't know at all about VR chat and that virtual reality can be social. So it was my part. Also, in any moments where I can add something, I will definitely add something. Also, we beginning to make some course for Ukrainian kids and teenagers in Prague. Also with help of library. There's a lot of
This is so awesome. This is so great. You're just doing you just keep doing amazing stuff. Like
yeah, thank you. Also,
I think,
in addition to
but
this,
is there any link that you can share, or do like how can people see your work? Like, where can they follow you, or like do you share? Are you going to share those courses in Prague or?
yeah, like all my personal stuff, what is going in my life, I'm trying to fill in my Instagram, and
Okay.
also in Facebook, it's same. And everything will be there, but in Instagram, it's more like post factum that it's already done. But about future, I can share a link for the library, Prague Library, if something
Okay.
will
Okay.
hear it
So I
from.
can, yes, that would be great because so they can also check that, and I would share that link on the because this interview is on YouTube. I will share the description with the link so they can check from the
Uh,
links. Um,
so yeah, just
but
quick
yeah,
addition to this.
yeah, feel free to wrap up.
Yeah. So um also, not only I'm not working not only in library, also making other IT courses for Ukrainian kids in Ukrainian IT school. It's also really experimental, really like um, we just begin it, but anyway, it's also a good point. And I hope that after I will finish my university, at least it's baccalaureate, so I will be more free to make anything that I want. I have so lot of connection, fortunately, and I know at least to who I can ask something about any collaboration like that. So of course I'm just trying to do what I can.
So that's I mean, yeah, like thank you so much. First of all, really, I appreciate a lot we are making this interview with you. I appreciate a lot your work. You keep doing doing the works with heart and soul, like not just you're just not being technical, but also you are bringing up so much quality of emotion, depth, and impact into the world by your projects. So I really hope you keep doing more and more and work on this XR industry, but also on other sections, maybe like games or maybe animation, maybe books, cinema, who knows. But I see, yeah, I see like in next 5-10 years, yeah, I you will you will be in so many different places. I think, like, I mean,
Yeah, thank you. I also hope
future
with that.
future is bright, but this is all already bright. Like, you're doing your best and best. Each time when I see a new project or new work from you, you're coming up with something new, and you're just working on kind of, you're just keep educating yourself. You don't stop. Like, you never stop. Like, okay, I learned this, now that's okay. No, you just keep educating and leveling up. It's such a great opportunity to, work with you. Like, previously we worked with you, and also to know you, of course. And it's always lovely to see you and to chat with you. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
do you have anything
Today,
else to add up, Tim?
I just want to add that really today we cannot stop at all of learning anything. Here is a lot of things that to learn. So of course I should keep going. And thank you very much for this interview. I was really happy to speak with you to um, tell something interesting, maybe. I hope. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.